Hi everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am very good. Another game week. It's just as relentless football season, something else that just comes at you. And it's like one of the assistant coaches for Coach Snyder once said this to me. You go down in the submarine and then you come back up at the end of the season. That's kind of the way I feel. Houston this weekend. It's going to be a little bit rainy down there, but the Cats and Cougars will tangle at 2:30. Going to be a really important game for K-State, as they all are right now, and we're going to get into that quite a bit here in a bit. First reminder, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. My wife doesn't like that it covers up my face. I think most of us can agree the less face time I have is better for the viewer. Subscribe. Just do it. Do it to prove why we need to do that to my wife. So K-State plays at Houston, and it is a big game. And I know Houston's towards the bottom of the Big 12 standings, but every game from now on is huge because Kansas State is aspiring to be a Big 12 champion again. They were in 22, and they lost some close games in 23, and they didn't get back to Arlington. Well, they're on track to get back, but they pretty much need to win out. We've talked about scenarios to get K-State in, even if they lose at Iowa State, but that's going to take Iowa State losing 3 games between now and then. And that's not going to happen. And BYU to lose 3 games because, look, BYU's got the tiebreaker on K-State. So winning out's the formula to get you there. And let's be blunt, they should win these next 3 games with an off week in there. They go to Houston, which, look, Willie Fritz beat K-State in 2022. He's got a formula for doing it. He did it at Tulane with more talent, but he has proven he can do it. Then you go into your second and final off week before you play host to Arizona State and Cincinnati in a couple games that I personally think K-State will win, even though those teams are better than we thought. Because if you recall what I just said, K-State didn't make it back to the Big 12 championship last season because they lost close games. Well, this K-State team is proving it can win close games. In fact, every close game it's been in, it's won. It got smoked by BYU, but we can also probably agree as observers of the actual game and not just the final score that things went a little bit nutty in Provo for the Cats. And I don't think it was a full reflection of how these two teams match up on the field. And we might get another chance at that if K-State wins out, because it looks like BYU probably will also win out. Oddly enough, KU might have something to say about all of this because they play both of those teams in the coming weeks after losing to K-State. But even though Kansas State didn't play well on Saturday, didn't play poorly, but just didn't look quite as engaged as you'd want them to be. And that's a word I use a lot because I really feel like it's a good description of what goes wrong sometimes with K-State. They didn't feel fully engaged in the first half at Tulane. They got there in the second half. And they felt just enough to engage against Kansas to get over the hump. And they got disengaged by turnovers and mistakes at the end of the first half at BYU. But learning how to win close games is really the secret to success in football, but certainly in this competitive Big 12 conference. And Kansas State, with Avery Johnson at quarterback and so many other young players on this roster who are important leaders, they're learning how to win these games. And that could be so important over the next season plus with Avery at quarterback. We'll see how it all pans out. I think K-State will go to Iowa State at 10-1. But that is going to be a big mountain to climb. And it's ironic I say that when the teams are Kansas and Iowa based. But Iowa State at night in late November, because I assume that game will be at night, will be quite the environment and probably a chilly one. But I know this, if the game comes down to the wire, one team has proven that they know how to win those games. And granted, Iowa State has too, to a degree, but Kansas State has done it through a really challenging schedule, playing all the best teams the Big 12 has to offer this year, and finding a way to win almost all of those games. Okay, BYU was the exception.